All right. Hello, 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 everyone. It is Larissa. It's been a couple of weeks since we've been here. We've been hosting additional Abundance Academy events, our Abundance Activation Masterclass, and our signature Abundance Activation Intensive. And I'm so happy to be here, back again for another Lunch and Learn. And what we do on these lunch and learns is every week we explore topics to help you elevate your mindset, be at your best, and radically expand your life and business. And today we're going to be talking about an awesome topic, basically the coaching space, and one key ingredient that's missing in many forms of coaching. So I'm just trying to set up our Facebook stream, and I've got Jessica with me, but she can see my video and she can see that the button's not working. So don't know if you've got any ideas, but we'll refresh one more time. Technology is getting the best of us at this point, but that's okay. We're getting better at it. So today we're talking about coaching and the coaching space, and one really key ingredient that's missing in so many forms of coaching. So if you are a professional woman, maybe you've gone to seminars and all kinds of things that you've done coaching, you've read the books, you've gone to all kinds of events with other women, you've listened to podcasts, and you've made some really beautiful changes in your life, but something is still standing in your way. Maybe you haven't been able to shake it off. Today is for you. And I've also got some really exciting slides here for you. So it looks like we aren't going to be able to get onto Facebook, but that is a-okay. So if you don't know me, I am Larissa McCooch, author of Stop Procrastinating Your Life Away, Master Results Coach, and CEO of Abundance Academy, where we work with professional women whose external results tell the world they're successful, but on the inside, they know they're destined for more. So I help them stop holding themselves back, go after their dreams, and radically expand their lives, their income, so they can love themselves, love their businesses, and create magic in their lives. So I thank you guys for being here. I truly am blessed for you to be in our presence. So what I would love to do is just really talk about this this world of coaching. I think some people stumble on coaching and other people seek it out after they've heard about it from somebody. However, coaching is very common in the world of sports. Like think of soccer coaches or basketball coaches or volleyball coaches, even dance. We don't call them dance coaches. We call them dance teachers. Same kind of thing. But there are professionals that guide you to victory or whatever you desire to be. And in the real world, this is not something as common. This is something that as we decide that we want to improve our lives and have the kind of life and business that we want to love, we realize we're not always equipped in order to have that. And certain parts of our lives, we're not living them in alignment. They don't feel good and we're not getting the results we need. And so when it comes to getting assistance in life or finances or in your business or in your spirituality, whatever it is, you hire coaches for that. And I think it was really beautiful because many years ago when Tony Robbins first started his career, he really did popularize the idea of coaching. Prior to him, it didn't really exist in the capacity it does today. And the first time I hired a coach was about 18 years ago. And I remember I was confused as ever. And I did not know where to turn. I needed to make some major decisions in my life, and I just couldn't keep spinning. It was like I was spinning over and over again. And I was looking for some guidance. In truth, I wanted someone to make those uncomfortable decisions for me, but she would not do that. And it was really helpful because I made some decisions shortly after working with her, and life went on. But what happened is over the years, I'd work with different coaches and wellness practitioners, doctors, even started going to seminars and having some intensive learning opportunities at a really great rate. I got trained in these tools, right? They were good. But when I finally got trained in using the tools I was studying as a student and that I currently use now, that's when the pieces came together, because prior to that, I couldn't figure out why, no matter how close I got, it always felt like something was missing, right? Have you ever achieved a certain level of success and then there's just something missing? You don't feel good. You don't feel worthy. Maybe things take so long, and deep down you question if you even want it or if you're on the right path. And something, when I solved this thing that was deep down and totally misaligned, everything started to change. And I'm really, truly grateful for that change. And so I want to talk about coaching and what's missing in many of the coaching techniques that can lead you to make some rapid and really sustainable changes that are necessary in your life. And the kind of changes I'm talking about are not just the, oh, something new came up. I'm talking about changes that you're looking to make, and things that have been around for a long, long time, forever, we're going to say. A lot of my clients, they come to me and they're like, I've been procrastinating forever. And whatever change you have or you're looking to make, it is possible. And so the process of coaching is an opportunity for you to learn or develop and improve your performance. When you're making change, you're modifying or altering something. And so often people may think, well, it's taken me 30, 40, 50 years to get here. How could I possibly change quickly? But when you work with tools that I'm going to share with you today, you can make those quick changes very, very rapidly. Okay. Even within 30 days or less. And so this is where I want to talk to you about some of the differences between conscious coaching and breakthrough coaching. And so the breakthrough coaching I'm talking about specifically is NLP breakthrough coaching, using the tools of neuro-linguistic programming and other modalities to get these long-lasting and really, truly effective results. So here's the thing. Most of the long-term problems that you've had have been following you your entire life. And they're the result of decisions that you made about who you are, what you're worth, and what you're capable of you made these decisions at a young age. And perhaps it's a result of certain strategies that you're running and maybe things that you're conditioned to focus on. And a lot of the decisions that you make, they are outside of your awareness. They're in the realm of what we call your unconscious. So you have a conscious mind and you have an unconscious mind. And I'm going to show you a picture in a second. I'm so excited because I actually learned how to do screen share today. We tested it, so it's going to work. But in fact, all of your learning, all of your behavior, and all of your change are unconscious. Okay, I'm almost ready to share my screen. Give me a sec. This is my first time using this platform to do a screen share. So, okay. Here we go. Yay. Amazing. Okay. So essentially all learning, all behavior, and all change are unconscious. And so what do I mean by that? You have a mind, okay? And you have a conscious mind, and I'm referring to the conscious mind as your head, and I'm referring to the unconscious mind as your heart. So your head is this logical, your conscious mind is very logical, it's very thoughtful, it's where your willpower lies, and this is what you're learned to use in school. This is what you're taught to use in school. When you work with your unconscious mind, this is where your belief system is. This is where the extra stuff happening behind the background that actually leads you to your behaviors and some of the choices that you're making. And this is where your feelings are. This is where your automatic functions are. And so the unconscious mind is really powerful because the conscious mind is responsible for 5% of your results, and the unconscious mind is responsible for 95% of your results. Now, this little thing called the critical faculty in between is what helps you differentiate between the two. And you want to be able to have a healthy relationship between the two. When you're at a certain point, there is it's important to have logic and reason. However, when you're in a trance state, what happens is this ability to reason disappears and everything just pours right into your unconscious mind. Let's say you're swiping on the phone and you're not paying attention. Boom, trance state. Let's say you're clicking through to the next Netflix episode. It's like, oh, just one more, trance state. Let's say you're driving and you drive to your destination on autopilot, trance state. You're not paying attention. And in fact, most of your life, you're living your life in trance. And so prior to 7 years of age, you exist in this kind of state where you don't have that filter to be able to say, this is real, this is imagined, because you're living most of your life in trance. And even still, you are now, but as an adult, you have the ability to differentiate. And so when we say all learning, all behavior, and all change is unconscious, that's what I'm referring to. Okay. So I hope this is making sense. So there's one other slide. This is our NLP model of communication. I'm not going to get too heavy into this. However, it's super, super valuable. So here's what actually happens is events happen in your life. Here, there's an example of winning the lottery, first kiss, or even 9/11. These are significant emotional events. And in your life, you might have significant emotional events that are positive and serve you, and other ones that don't. But you've had events throughout your entire life, even prior to 7 years of age, that you may not consciously remember. But what happens is these events go into your mind by everything you see, everything you hear, everything you touch, everything you smell, everything you taste. And that is everything you experience in your life, from your parents, your caregivers, everyone that's around you. And it's really important to know that you're probably not paying attention to most of these things while they're happening, because it's just part of your normal everyday reality. But what happens is everything in your world goes in at a rate of 12 million bits of information per second. That's a lot. And because your brain cannot process it, it would spontaneously combust. It deletes, distorts, and generalizes them. And in fact, it uses about 19 different filters so you can make sense of what's actually happening inside your mind. So what happens inside your mind with this information? You take 12 million bits of information per second, and there's filters that happen. So what happens is you get this internal representation, okay? The internal representation is the movies that you play, or let's say the chit chat that happens in your mind. You all have mental chatter, and there's movies and stories that you make up inside your head. And so these things, these internal representations, they exist at 128 bits of information per second versus the 12 million. And this is really important because when you realize you take a lot of information in, and what you perceive as reality is not what the person next to you will perceive. If there's a lot of room for different levels of interpretation. And so that's why you can have 5 different people standing next to each other, and each one of them, based on how they perceive reality, makes up their reality. That leads to state, which is what we refer to as feelings, and then physiology, which is body language. If I was talking to you like this with my head down, you wouldn't want to watch. But if you pick your head up, that's going to lead to a different outcome. And so the thoughts and the things inside your head, the feelings that you have in the body language, these are all impacted. And this is how these are all coming from within you. Now, what happens is you express all of these, right? These all work together. They all influence one another. So you can use one to influence the other. However, they get expressed as behavior. And your behavior might be how you invest your money, dancing, bonding, how you run your business, whether you choose to exercise or avoid it. Okay, so whether you're procrastinating in your business or you're taking action and moving. And so when you realize that focus, right, what you focus on, and your focus is not this event, your focus is what am I making up about this event? Your focus will drive your behavior. Okay, so what you focus on up here, there's a lot of room for interpretation based on what you're going to make up about your reality will drive your behavior. We say you're making up your reality anyway, so you might as well make it a good one. But this is a really important thing to notice. So I'm just going to stop the share here for a sec. But I think this is really, really powerful to know that there's stuff happening inside your head. And when you want to make rapid changes, so often people are looking to make rapid changes for problems that have been lingering for a really, really long time. And they're trying to do them consciously with access to the resources of 138 bits of information per second. And the things that they can remember and the things that they can contextualize. And really, really smart people love thinking. But that's not going to give you access to so many more of the resources that were around when you created these problems in the first place. Because so many of the problems you have, they're decisions you made at some point in your life. I promise you, you were not born with these problems. At some point, you made a decision to have the problem come in. And so there are two things that you want to do. I thought it was one when I titled this talk, but there's actually two things. They totally work hand in hand. But the first thing is, when you're looking to make permanent and full change, is you got to work with the unconscious mind. You can't just think things through. You've got to work with the unconscious mind. And the second one is you've got to heal those wounds or adverse childhood experiences that led you to make some of these decisions to have the problem in the first place. So let's talk about each one individually real quick. So first, when you're working with the unconscious mind, you've got, you need to really remember that the unconscious mind works faster than the conscious mind can process. Okay. And if you're trying to consciously think through your own level of change, there are things that you can't see within yourself, because by the time you see something, your unconscious mind has already gone 10 miles ahead. And so what happens traditionally is people go, oh, well, I'm going to change the behavior. Okay, I'm going to change what I'm doing. I'm going to change that belief or that behavior. And you try, and you muscle through it with your willpower, because that's a conscious thing. And it might work, but you have to work so hard and it takes so long, and eventually it will work, but it's a struggle. Maybe it might work, or you might just give up along the way. But if you really look at what's underneath it, the unconscious mind is where the beliefs are. It's where the self-image is. It's where your focus is. It's where you get to choose your focus. And so know that your focus will drive your behavior. The self-image you have, how you perceive yourself on the inside, will drive your behavior. And the belief you have about who you are and what you're capable of, will ultimately drive your behavior. And so all of this exists in the unconscious realm. So you've got to tune in and plug into your unconscious. And when you start working with the power of your unconscious mind, you just have access to so much more, so that you can make faster change in a more powerful and effective way. So in my breakthrough sessions that I do with clients, we have very specific tools that we work with. Many different tools. So one of those is timeline therapy. We have belief shift, a belief shift process that we do. We integrate different parts of you that are fragmented. We work with perception. We work with exercises that will help you shift your perception, and let's say your perceptual positions, and linguistic patterning, and so much more. And so it's critical. There's so many other tools out there, but if you're not using the unconscious tools in a strategic way, you're missing a really, really big piece of the pie. Don't just try to change at the conscious level. Start changing your beliefs and work with your unconscious mind in order to do that. So you've got to really be aware of those beliefs. Values are also huge. They exist in the unconscious realm. And so this is what will drive your future. Second thing, you want to heal those wounds, right? Heal those adverse childhood experiences that led to the decision or the problem being there in the first place. So in my world, we call this root cause. This is what happens in so many, this is what's missed in so many forms of coaching, right? In coaching or talk therapy, what happens is you talk about the problem and you work back in your timeline. Oh, this happened yesterday. This happened the month before. 3 years ago, this happened. Oh, 5 years ago, this happened. And every time you talk about the problem you have, what happens is you're reinforcing the problem even more. And it takes a really long time, because some of us have a lot of things that we've got to deal with and work through. But when you go back to what we call root cause, or the very first time where you had that experience, and you heal yourself on the inside in your heart, at your unconscious level, at that place, you can clear the rest of the timeline so much faster because you start changing the way the brain perceives what has happened. And I think this is very often missing in so many of the coaching realms and a lot of the healing modalities. And so going back to the unconscious, healing and working with root cause are absolutely critical. And so while I think conscious coaching is absolutely fabulous and necessary, and I think it's super helpful to have someone in your corner to pitch and catch with and reframe situations as they come up and create plans and improve your life and business as you want it to be. Maybe live in the flow, like have that dream life. That's amazing. Conscious coaching can help you get there. They can help you solve certain problems. However, if you've had these long-standing challenges that have been lingering for years and they keep coming back, you're going to want to go deeper and literally weed the garden of your mind, weed the garden of your soul, weed the garden of the energy that's been lingering all these years. The process does not have to take 5, 10, 20, 30 years like it did to create the problems you have. The change work can actually happen in 30 days or less, typically. If you need an express version, it can happen over a 2-day period. And a couple months later, to really have the neurology, to build the neurological system that supports the change, is the icing on the cake. So let's say within 3 months, you could feel totally, totally different. The change will happen very, very quickly. You may not recognize and fully feel and acknowledge it because your body may need to catch up. But let's say in like less than 3 months, which is a really relatively short period of time, everything can start shifting for you. And so it's simple, definitely not easy. There's a lot of need and a desire. You need to be truly willing and ready to let go of this problem, and you don't have to know how. However, if you have been involved in the coaching world, maybe you're even a coach yourself, maybe you're into the world of personal growth and development and you've made progress, but there's something deeper that's preventing you from reaching your next level of success. Feel free to book a complimentary consultation with me if this type of work is appropriate for you or your situation. So if so, we can talk about what that could look like for you. And if it's not a good fit for you, I will just tell you straight up, and I will definitely direct you to some other appropriate next best steps that would be good for you. So it's absolutely free, but what I'll do is I'll make sure my team puts a link to schedule a consultation in the chat below. And that way, if you do want to connect, I'm happy to take the time. So, whoops. All right. But if you've had problems with excess weight for years, maybe it goes up and down, but it always keeps coming back up. Maybe you have been a professional procrastinator. You have been sabotaging yourself in certain ways. You've been avoiding things are good and logically are helpful. You just don't feel appropriate about yourself. You want to feel better overall and just feel like you're more aligned, and you can look yourself in the mirror and actually love yourself. Maybe you're hitting a glass ceiling in your business, or you just want healthier relationships. Like, these are all things that we can discuss and work with. But if that's of interest to you, like I said, my team is going to add my calendar to the chat below, and I'm happy to have a free coaching call with you. So go ahead and book that if this is of interest to you. I'd love to chat, because when I started working with my unconscious mind for the first time in my life, all that chatter inside my head, it got quiet. Like, the noise finally stopped. I still had a long way to go to hit some of my goals. However, what was different is I didn't feel bad that I wasn't there yet. I stopped beating myself up for where I was, and I realized, oh, here's where I am and here's why. And I could actually accept and embrace the process along the way. Still driven, but way less hard on myself. I didn't have to pressure myself in that way. I got a different level of work-life balance and finally dropped the guilt of being a mother who truly loves working and doesn't want to be at home full time, right? There was a lot of guilt I had being a mom that wanted to work, and others were like, oh, I just want to stay home and take care of my baby. I love my baby, don't get me wrong, but I wanted to have a part of myself that contributed in a different way. And so these are all some of the very specific things this breakthrough process has led me to. I've done it several times as a client, and it's also so empowering to see the changes I've had happen in many of the clients that I've worked with as well. So if it's of interest to you, let me know. Would love to have a chat, and I will see you guys again next week with another beautiful surprise.